What happens later? Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. I'm trying to find out where should I look into this fucking phone. Been doing this. I've been working with this phone for 3 or 4 years. I don't know where to look. Okay, for the best eye contact with you, the viewer of one Mike Messier. We're going to do this nice review of what happens later. Meg Ryan, David Duchovny, directed by Meg Ryan. Good for you, Meg. And we've missed Meg Ryan. We really have. And look, folks, I mean, I feel like a fucking asshole because this is the thing that you don't want to say. But if even the guy fucking checking my ticket at the theater, this older gentleman checking me into the theater, the first thing, like I said, I want to go see. I'm going to go see that Meg Ryan movie. He's like, oh, whatever happened to her? And then we go into the whole thing, and then it's like, oh yeah, she had the plastic surgery, and so I mean, you go into this whole goddamn thing, and you don't want to judge by someone's looks. I get that, but I mean, I guess it needs to be said, or we just say it anyway, even if it doesn't need to be said. Meg's had some work. Some of it's worked, and some of it's not. She was really such a sweetheart. She was, God, I feel like every goddamn cliche asshole saying this stuff. America's Sweetheart, When Harry Met Sally, this one and the other one, Sleepless in Seattle, Joe versus the Volcano, and all these other goddamn movies. And then she kind of disappears, and then it's like, where did she go? Where's wonderful Meg? And it's like she has the lips inflated and the face pulled back, and it's like, I get it. It's the Hollywood system. It's the brutal, fucking horrible Hollywood who puts all these millions of dollars into people's pockets, but yet it's this vague when people say Hollywood, they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. You tell me, what does Hollywood mean, assholes? You don't have a fucking clue. Most of these goddamn movies are filmed in Atlanta or New England or other countries. I mean, it's not like every fucking movie is made in Los Angeles, like Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. It's just this vague fucking term. So, I mean, assholes are always saying, oh, I hate Hollywood, the Hollywood elite, the Hollywood agenda. Well, fuck. You're watching goddamn Netflix all the time. You're watching goddamn Hulu all the time. You're watching goddamn HBO shows all the time. Who the hell do you think's making that content? Asshole for brains. Hollywood. Your vague definition of fucking Hollywood. I'm getting a little sick and fucking tired of it, okay? But anyway, Meg Ryan, Hollywood's sweetheart, America's sweetheart, sweetheart. In this, she's in this airport. Her character is, I should say, Wilhelmina is the name of her character. I've met one Wilhelmina in my life. Woman was a bit fucking nuts. And then the other character is played by David Duchovny. I come into this theater maybe 2 minutes late. Opening credits are still going on. Duchovny's character is on his cell phone talking to apparently his wife. They're talking apparently about their daughter. Things don't sound too good or whatever the fuck. And then, there's a storm outside. Duchovny's plane to Austin, Texas is delayed. Meg's plane to Boston, Massachusetts is delayed. Everyone's delayed. And then they kind of see each other. They're trying to avoid each other. And finally, they see each other. They can't get away from each other. And we find out that they were lovers in their early 20s. They were early 90s lovers. They were a couple. They followed spoilers, by the fucking way, in case you didn't figure it out. They followed musicians around. They were into the Pixies, into the Soundgarden, into whatever the fuck. All the cool music from the early 90s they were into. And she, Wilhelmina, wanted to open up their relationship. She wanted to fuck other people. And Duchovny's character, Will, said, okay, but he was really a cuck. He really didn't believe in that type of activity. And so it broke his heart that she did not find him sexually satisfying, and she felt the need to get her groove on with other people. Well, here's the big kick in the balls. She never did get it on with other people. And at some point in this whole this is all exposition, by the way. They don't do a bunch of flashbacks to this. It's all in the talking, which is how you save money in these movies. You just tell people what happened instead of showing. They're telling, not showing. Sorry, Robert McKee. So we go into this whole goddamn thing. Apparently she got pregnant. As you know, because there's so many fucking things I can put. I actually like the movie, but there's so many things I can poke holes in because you want the characters to be sympathetic. You know, she suffered a miscarriage as opposed to having an abortion. You know what I mean? Because if the character had had an abortion, you've lost half your fucking audience is not going to be sympathetic to this character. But a good old-fashioned miscarriage, and everybody's happy. You know, suddenly the character is sympathetic or empathetic because she had a tragic miscarriage. And what could have happened if our daughter had lived? But if she had fucking, you know, had an abortion, then you get a different story now, don't you? And then, of course, Wilhelmina, blah, 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 blah. They break up. She was always flabbergasted, although they had this big conversation at Todd Morton's Steakhouse, apparently, and all this shit. So it's one of these classic situations, folks. You ready? You see the back of my hand, and I see the back of my hand because I'm looking at it in my phone. But actually, if I didn't have the phone there, I'd be seeing the front of my hand, and you'd be seeing the back of my hand. So this hand thing doesn't work when you're on the goddamn phone camera because I can see myself right now. But if I couldn't, I would see this side of my hand. You would see that side. We're seeing two different things, but we're seeing the same thing. Oh my God. So we find the fuck out that they had this explosive sexual chemistry, okay? And, but they just were on different wavelengths. And of course, they're kind of playing that card of, oh, we're getting old and we don't know what the fuck's going on with these kids and their Twitters and their Instafucks and their this and their that's. They're playing that whole thing. I work for a guy that's 25 years younger than me, blah, blah, blah. So they're kind of playing that card a bit. Wilhelmina is a bit of a hippie. She's got a fucking rain stick she's walking around with. The other guy, Duchovny, Will, is a, you know, whatever the fuck. He's a regular asshole, you know, tech guy or computer guy, mid-level guy. Never got out of being a mid-level guy. So there you go, folks. Now, you might be thinking, well, gee whiz, Mike, this movie sounds like a steaming pile of dog shit now that you talked about it. Well, I actually enjoyed it. I mean, what can I say? I mean, there's so many holes you can poke, yet the charm of the two leads gets us through the night. One thing that they did that was kind of interesting, they played a lot of Muzak in the movie because then they're in the plane. The plane airport kind of has its own. If you ever see that Tom Hanks movie where he's stuck in the airport, well, this one is kind of like that, except it's a couple, and it's only for a night, not for like 6 years. But they keep hearing all this Muzak that's like, you know, bands that we like, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. But it's all these like Muzak versions of the good songs, which was kind of interesting. I think the movie could have picked up a little bit had they spent the money to use some of the original recordings of, you know, Pearl Jam. Like put a nice Pearl Jam thing in there or a Soundgarden thing just to liven it up a little bit. Yes, I get it. The mood is that they're in the fucking airport. But I mean, just for the viewer's enjoyment, Meg, you could have spent some money on some goddamn music rights, okay? ASCPA, whatever the fuck. You make me sick, I make music. I don't know if you ever saw that in the Soundgarden liner notes back in the day. But they would have all these goddamn things. Like, I'd be reading the goddamn liner notes of Soundgarden, and it's like, C, copyright. You make me sick, I make music. Music. Okay, assholes. Pretentious as goddamn fuck. I mean, you get to a point, folks, where I'm looking around, it's like all the people that I used to envy, all the people that were doing things better than me, Chris Cornell and fucking whoever the fuck, this actor, that guy, Heath Ledger, blah, 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 they're all fucking dead. So, I mean, I may not have achieved the goddamn greatness of these people, but I'm alive. I got that going for me, right? So in any goddamn event, you know, you get to the point where people are telling you, like, you know, somebody died, like some acquaintance or some celebrity or whatever the fuck, and like part of, you know, the vast majority of you is sad and concerned and thoughts and prayers. That's like 99%, but the 1% of you is like, fuck, I beat that one too. Like I'm outliving everybody, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, I'm still here. So at least I have that going fucking for me. Any goddamn event way, the movie's good. So go see it, MikeMessier.com. I'm going to sit here and comb my hair. I still have hair on my fucking head. One Mike Messier, One Man in a Camera Films, my channel. Subscribe.